Well, welcome to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. I'm Seth Morkirky.
I'm Susanna Moberg.
And we have a guest from, as you know, the greatest state. Greatest state in all the United States. Go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do here at DSU.
I'm Lisa Townsend, and I'm from Douglas, Wyoming, and I run cross country for the university, and I'm a senior. So.
Cool. Well, tell us about the journey from the greatest state to the second greatest state in the United States.
So on my high school cross country team, me and another girl were pretty close, and we competed well, and I knew when I was looking for a university that I wanted to be competitive on my team, but also in my conference, and I found that here at DSU. And it was a pretty smooth transition. I was welcomed onto the team, and I just loved the community right away. Right away, college running kind of blew my mind because it was so much, but I got used to it pretty quick, and now it's not easy by any means, but I'm used to it, and I like the challenge.
Yeah. Well, 4 years later, you're a senior now. You've kind of had a couple injuries in your career, both in cross country and track. Talk about what it's been like to overcome those and now be in your senior season, kind of really embracing it.
So with my injuries, I just had to get used to that. I had to relax, like I had to take time off. Mostly I just had to know that there's another side to it, like I'm gonna get through it, like I'm gonna work through it, and that I know that if I do work through it how I'm supposed to and like take the steps I need to overcome it, then I'm gonna compete better. So I just like always thought about the other side.
That's good. Hope.
Yeah. So cross country is a solo sport, but there's also team dynamics. So how do you balance kind of that solo competition while also that team aspect?
So I think that comes down to like goals. So I have my personal goals, so like my time goals and my placing goals. But then that works into the larger scheme, because if I have a time goal, it should, and a place goal, that will help my team, like if it's high enough or if it's fast enough. Also, like we know each other's goals, so it's like easy to push your teammate if you know they're trying to hit a 1930, break 21. Yeah. Like it's easier to push your teammates if you know their individual goal, and I think that like overall helps like the team atmosphere and it being a team sport.
Mm-hmm. And you, as a team, you're on the road a lot. You travel a lot during the season. Mm-hmm. And we had Ahmad Andrews on the show last week, and we asked him this question. It was kind of a fun one, so we thought we'd ask you as well. But who is the most fun to room with on away trips?
I'm going to have to go with Bailey Smith. She's pretty fun to room with. I would also vote myself, but I can't. So.
Okay. Well, this last weekend you guys traveled. I don't think you had to stay the night, but you went to Moorhead for the Twilight Classic. You took 21st at a Division II race, which is really impressive. So talk about that race and what it feels like.
So it's a twilight run, so just the atmosphere in general is a little different than a daytime run. So ours was just like as the sun was setting. What I think about when I think about twilight running is I'm all about the footing, because the footing is my main thing in races and with less light. But aside from that, it's we like came into it like with some goals, and personal goals and team goals, and we were all within 40 seconds of each other, or all top four was in 40 seconds of each other, which was like amazing for a first race. And so I think it was a good first meet. No complaints about it. Boys as well had like a really great first meet. So yeah.
That's a good one. Good one to start with.
Heading into the rest of the year. Here's a crazy question, and I think this might become one of our staple questions on Hawk Talk. We'll see. If time travel was, that's a bold prediction. That's my bold prediction.
Bold statement.
If time travel was possible, and you went back in time, how would you prove that you were from the future if you couldn't bring anything with you? didn't know you were going to get asked this.
No, I didn't.
Ooh, that's a really loaded question, actually.
Well, how would you prove okay, you can bring one thing with you. How would you prove that you were from the future?
Okay, I would probably bring an iPhone 11, right? No, that's what just came
with
out.
the new cameras,
yeah.
right?
So that's pretty like crazy. And then I would bring. You can't bring anything. But then I'd just talk about how our world is like all like technology, I guess, right? Because I'm going back, not
You're
to.
going back.
Yeah, I'm going back.
Back
yeah.
to the future.
So I talk about the technology we have, just blow their minds, you know.
I like
That's
it.
good. That's wise.
I don't know what I would
It
bring.
would take me too long to think about
Yep,
an answer, so.
we'd
I
be here
won't.
forever.
Yeah.
So we'll just stick with that. I like it.
All right.
Back to cross country. You are headed to Rocky this weekend, and your team is currently receiving votes in the national poll. Is that
That's
correct?
right, yep.
Is that true? Seth really had to explain this to me, and I really am not sure I still get it. But anyways, you're receiving these votes in the national poll. You're projected to win the conference meet. How does that affect how you go into each meet?
So with Rocky in particular, we're just looking at, so Rocky is a ranked team. I want to say Carroll and Western Nebraska are as well. So going into it, like that's our goal team or goal teams to like go out. You see that jersey, like you catch that jersey. I really think our goal this weekend is just to outcompete those teams and show them that like we do deserve to be not only get voted for, but be on the actual 1 through 25 poll. So.
And some congratulations are in order for you. You were named the North Star Athletic Player of the Week, right? However you
Finally getting some
long
love from the
title, but
North
yes, exactly.
I didn't have to go and yell at him. That's sweet
Seth
this
didn't
year.
have to create a long rant, which he did last year. You got to do what you got to do. But another person from our school was also given this title. Some of you might know Hayden Gibson. So just a quick question for you. Do you two like eat a certain meal or like is there a routine or something that got you both this title this week?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Hayden is a pretty good cook, so maybe it's all those meals that he's made for us that gave us some type of advantage. I don't know.
Hopefully
but-
we can get him on.
Yeah,
someday.
maybe
We'll
we
ask
could
him.
ask
Yeah,
him
I'll
the
talk
same
him
thing.
into it one day. See if he can
That'd be good.
get on here.
Well, here's another question that has to do with race day and kind of preparing for the race. This one's, music is very involved into all sports, I think. So is there a song in particular that you listen to on game day or like a playlist or track that you listen to?
So I do like to start race day with some like soft rock to like, I don't know, like get into it.
Yeah.
But more towards the race, I guess I lean to like, honestly, like a little cheesy, but Pink songs like really get the people going.
Pump him up.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah.
I think that would probably do that for me too.
You think so?
She's got some good songs. Yeah.
She really does, actually.
Yeah.
She has some good ones.
Well, the last question we're asking, it's kind of, I guess this has become a staple for our Hawk Talk show as well. We ask everybody this, but what does DSU mean to you?
So DSU to me means being a part of not just a community, but a family. I feel like being a Blue Hawk, like you're held to a standard, and I really like being held to like this standard that we do get held to. I just feel like this community is just really loving and supportive, even when you're not doing well or when you're doing well, like you are supported here. So I guess being a Blue Hawk means like being a family.
Yeah, I
like
like
it.
that.
Good answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Lisa. We're excited. Good luck this weekend. Good luck the rest of the season. We're looking forward to the projected conference win and then the national bid, obviously. So
Thank you.
we'll be back right after this with a dual sport athlete.
Here come your Blue Hawks. Steps into the throw, in the wind, down to the goal line, and caught! Touchdown, Blue Hawks!
Welcome back to this episode of Hawk Talk. We've got a multi-talented dual sport athlete with us today. So I'll let you introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do here at DSU.
My name is Jarrett Lee. I'm from Dickinson, North Dakota, and I play football and golf.
Yeah, so you are kind of a local talent.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to DSU or why you chose Dickinson State?
I mean, it wasn't a far journey, obviously, but so you're like why I came here?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't my first choice. I'm sure Seth already knows this, but
You can tell the world.
wasn't my first choice. But I was getting looked at from other places, and nothing really seemed right. They didn't give me, offer me what I wanted. They didn't have the things that I wanted. And it's a long story, but ultimately I just wanted to play, and I knew I could play at DSU. So I just texted Stanton one day and said I wanted to sign.
And here we are.
Wow.
You know, last weekend we had a tough loss, or I guess last Thursday was a tough loss to Rocky. It just lost by 2 points, but the team came back and recovered, beating Jamestown 34-0. So talk about, you know, what happened within that time span of between Rocky and Jamestown and how you guys recovered.
We just bounced back well. I mean, obviously taking the first home loss in, 4 years? It was obviously tough, but I don't know. I mean, the guys have a lot of grit to get back out there and figure out what to do right, and that's about it.
And then at Jamestown this past weekend, you scored 2 touchdowns. It was raining, it was storming. How did you overcome that weather challenge?
I mean, it wasn't really a challenge, I guess. I mean, other than wet, but we didn't throw the ball as much as we usually do, which was expected, obviously. But when we did, we executed most of the time. And yeah.
Yeah, and with Hayden in the backfield, he has, 4 years of experience. He was named the North Star Offensive Player of the Week. So, I mean, what is it like to have such an experienced quarterback, a talented quarterback back there with the connection that you guys have?
I mean, it's definitely great to be, this is my 4th year here, 3rd year playing. He's been the quarterback here the whole time, other than Kaler for that half a year, my redshirt year. But he knows my timing pretty much. He knows, it's almost like we have a connection where he knows where I'm going to be before I'm there sometimes. But yeah, it's nice.
And not just Hayden, but this offense has a lot of experience. So can you talk a little bit about your relationship with the wide receivers?
I mean, we're definitely a close-knit group. Even when Seth was here, we were always pretty close. We would always goof around too much.
Because of me.
Yeah.
Right, that's the reason
All
why.
right.
And yeah, me and Tiger goof around probably too much, but we have fun every day.
That's what football's about.
Yeah. Who's the guy you find yourself interacting with the most at practices?
Definitely Tiger or Trevin.
Well, this question it's going to be hard because I know I'm not on the team anymore, Jarrett. But who would you say has the most style on the team now that I'm gone? That's a selfish question.
Oh my gosh.
As in, what do you mean by style?
Just, they just got that swagger about them.
Just say Seth, it'll be easier.
You don't have to say that.
People who think they do or people that
People
do?
who actually do.
I don't know. I'd say Tiger probably.
There you go. It stays with the wide receivers.
Yeah.
That's good. I like to hear that. This year you got 2 wide receiver coaches in Carson Oakland and Randy Ivey who have played within the system. They're both young. They're both going to school still, I believe. So what's it like to be taught by guys who are around your same age, but who are also coaching you and seeing things in a different mind?
I mean, it's definitely different. Like me and Carson are the same age. We came same year. Lived with him for a little bit actually. But I mean, you learn to respect people like that. Like he's not just your friend anymore. And even Randy, I played with Randy for 2 years, and like you just learn to respect people. Like they have a bigger role than you now, and so it's not much of a change, but you just have a different respect level for them.
Yeah.
And obviously, you had a few years of playing with Jay Liggins. What is it like for you, as a former teammate of his, to see him go into professional football, to see that success for him?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I obviously knew he had the possibility just with his size and everything. And I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking that he didn't get a shot anymore, but I mean, he actually at least got there, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe he's going back to train to see if he'll, can play in a different
Yeah.
league as well. So that's kind of exciting to hear about. Last year, speaking of Jay, last year the team, made it to the second round of the playoffs, won the first away playoff game in school history, lost by 3 in that last game. Is there pressure? Do you guys feel a pressure to get back there, or even move past that this year, or are you guys just kind of playing?
I mean, obviously, I'm sure people feel the pressure, but I mean, me personally, no. I'm just playing football.
Football, loving it. Well, you're also a 3-sport athlete in high school as well. You wrestled. So we have a fun question. We usually ask the wrestlers this, but we're going to ask you. And I changed it up, Suzanne. Okay. So
All right, I'm ready.
if you had the choice to wrestle an octopus, a kangaroo, or Ethan Gosticki from the wrestling team, who would you choose and why?
Probably a kangaroo,
How come?
probably, because they're probably a little bit slower.
Okay.
All right.
I heard they're pretty good at boxing, though, don't they?
Yeah, I think they
Or is that,
box.
like, made up?
I don't
That's
know.
probably
Maybe it's
made
just in movies.
I think they
to
just
make
box
it,
with their feet,
They box
balance
with
on
their
their
feet.
tail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's a good choice.
Yeah.
No, I won't say
Not many people pick Ethan. Just saying.
There you go, Ethan. We'll get you on the winter so we can see what you would say.
Yeah. So a 3-sport athlete in high school, you came to the university and now you play football and golf as well. So can you tell us a little bit about how you've managed to balance both of those sports?
I mean, it's not really that difficult. Thad obviously knows football comes first, so he gives me probably a little too much leeway. But I mean, other than that, I just play football, and when the golf team needs me, I go play golf.
Yeah. Well, is there,
Very
North Dakota weather is so crazy, and there's the fall and there's the spring for golf. So is weather more of a factor, would you say, in football or in golf for you and for, the team in general?
Definitely golf, probably.
How come?
Because with football, you can obviously, like we did this weekend, run the ball more. With golf, you obviously have to hold on to the club when it's raining.
Yeah.
And you have to have a little bit more strategy when it's like windy or anything out. You can't just hit the same club every time. You have to be able to move shots and stuff. But yeah, definitely golf.
There you go.
So being from North Dakota, if there was one food that you think best represents our state, what would it be
Steak.
and why?
Steak.
Yeah.
How come?
Because North Dakota's, I don't know, beef country, maybe? I don't know.
Steak country, okay. I was
I think
thinking-
steak's a pretty overall thing in North Dakota.
Okay, that's good. I was thinking maybe beer was going to be said, but you're not even 21, so I knew you wouldn't mention that. But that's a very
Good try,
that's a
though,
very
Seth. Is that what you
popular-
would have
that's
said?
not what I would have
Didn't you
said.
say food?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people sometimes mistake beer for food in North
Just
Dakota.
you.
That's not me. No, not me. Not me. Well, Jared, it's been great having you on. I've been trying to get you on for the past 3 years, so we finally did it. There we go, world. We got Jarrett Lee on Hawk Talk. But the last question for you is, what does DSU mean to you?
I mean, I think it's a pretty universal thing with everybody, more of a family.
Yeah.
Like everyone understands that everyone here is like good people and they want to help you.
Yeah.
So I mean, just a family.
Yeah. Well said.
I like it.
Yeah. Well,
I like
we're
hearing
excited to. Yeah. I think that describes DSU very well. We're excited to watch. You guys are off this weekend, but you'll be back home on the 21st against La Crosse, and then after that it's conference season. So we're excited to see how the rest of the year shakes out, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this talking with our newest sponsor.
Hey guys, it's Tyler with Immovable Ministries here, and I'm so excited to be able to be the sponsor for this year's Hawk Talk. If you'd like to find out more about Immovable Ministries, you can visit our website at immovableministries.com.
Well, welcome back to Hawk Talk. We're here with a guest who has actually become one of our Hawk Talk sponsors, along with the Heritage Foundation and Consolidated. Go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do around DSU or around Dickinson.
Sure. My name is Tyler Dewan. I'm with Immovable Ministries. My wife Kelsey and I founded the ministry earlier this year, and we'll get into more of that as we progress. But I'm from Dickinson, North Dakota. I graduated from Dickinson High in 2002. Moved away, but found my way back to this beautiful community. And I've been heavily involved with DSU and athletics at DSU for the last 7 years through Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But we're making a transition to Immovable Ministries, and just an honor to partner with you guys with Hawk Talk and what this show is doing and highlighting student athletes from Dickinson State University.
Yeah. So it's awesome. We're so excited to have you partnering with us. I know you've been involved with DSU in a number of areas, coaching, teaching, leading, also as a team chaplain. So talk about some of those roles that you've been in besides FCA.
Sure. I think my first involvement with Dickinson State University was helping Coach Fleury with the women's softball team back in 2012. I didn't know women's softball, but I know motivation and I know people, and so I fit in with the program well and with Coach Fleury well. And that was probably one of the highlights of my life so far, is being able to coach and watch young people compete. Even though I don't know X's and O's, I can cheer and I can get them fired up. And so that was my role on the team. That's probably the extent of my coaching at Dickinson State University. But I've also been heavily involved with the football team and wrestling team, doing some chaplain work with the football team, be it home games or road games. We would do like pregame chapels. And then the wrestling team, Coach Schlecht, has been just tremendous in letting me pour into his athletes and letting me be involved as one who didn't wrestle in high school, but have grown to love the sport just because of the commitment and really the grind that is college wrestling. Right. And I've grown so much just from being able to be around the wrestling program.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I had no clue any of that stuff happened. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, you're from Dickinson, like you said, left, came back. But how have you seen DSU grow and change over the years?
I think my perspective of DSU started in 5th grade when I moved here. And I remember being a little boy running on the hills at Whitney Stadium playing tackle football while the Hawks were playing. And so as a youth, you have one view of like, this is absolutely amazing. But as you grow and move past that age, I'm 35 now, so it's been 30 years since my first encounter with DSU athletics. I think the growth and change just comes from being older and more mature and maybe looking at athletics at DSU from a parent/coach standpoint rather than a student athlete. And so how have I seen it grown? I think my love for DSU has grown more than anything because we've been solid through the years. I mean, academics are important, but athletics are huge at Dickinson State, and that's why a lot of kids come here. But I think just my passion to see them succeed has grown more than maybe I've seen DSU grow or change.
Yeah. Well, the name of your ministry is really unique, Immovable Ministries, and I just want to ask, where does that name come from, and what was the inspiration for it?
So my life really radically changed probably 2007. I have a history of addiction and went through some struggles with law enforcement and the court system. Not ashamed about that because it's made me who I am today. But being a Christian for the last 10 years and really just attending church and being involved in ministries in Dickinson and surrounding areas, I started to notice that a lot of people live in fear. A lot of people are afraid of, whether it's challenges in life or a lot of things are really pressing down on not just people in church, but humanity in general. Mm-hmm. Fear, anxiety, depression. And I see people run from that rather than take a stand. And I just made a decision one day with me and my wife that enough's enough. We're done running, not only as Christians, but as humans. And we're going to start to face these things that are trying to take humanity out. Yeah. And that's where Immovable comes from. I promise to be immovable in all these things and to rally people around me who will also become immovable. And we're going to start to fight the good fight, I think the way that we were created to do it.
Yeah, come on.
Has it always been your goal to start a ministry or a church here in Dickinson, or kind of when did you know that's what you wanted to do?
You know, it has not always been my goal. As a youth, you know, coming through high school, Dickinson High School, made a lot of dumb choices, and I had different goals back then because of addictions. But since I got my life turned around and moved back to Dickinson, I want to be the citizen that Dickinson desires, right? I want to give back to the community. And one way that I can do that is through Immovable Ministries. I can pour back into not only Dickinson, but Dickinson State University and the athletes that attend there and the students that attend there, and really give back my life lessons, if you will, stuff that I have learned through my trials and errors, and hopefully help some people to make right choices rather than wrong choices and have to reap the benefits of whatever choice you make down the road.
Yeah.
So it's not always been my goal,
Yeah.
but it is my goal now.
Come
Yeah.
on. Well, you talked about the transition from FCA into Immovable Ministries, and you're taking a year off, kind of to do some planning. So what's the reasoning behind that year, and what's projected in the year to come?
Sure. Another thing that I notice in humanity as well is a lot of people have a hard time saying no, and I'm one of those people. And I tend to overbook my schedule. And in doing so, my beautiful wife Kelsey, we have a 4-year-old girl named Avie, a 2-year-old girl named Ireland, and a 3-month-old boy named Axton. My family needs not only their husband, but their father to be present. So I've been doing ministry full-time now for 7 years, and I say full-time, I have another occupation as well. But my schedule just got a bit crowded, and so this year is us retreating and stepping back, pouring into my family as much as I can, and establishing healthy boundaries when it comes to ministry and work and all the things that can fill our schedule. And so that's the reason for taking the year off, is to really set up healthy boundaries within my family and the outside world, so that when we come back after the year break, we are healthy, we are whole as a family, and we're going to be more powerful then than we ever were before.
Yeah. And you're a big Blue Hawk family. You talked about your love has grown for the school, for the athletics here.
Yes.
So is there a push someday for your 3 kids to come to DSU or maybe even play for Blue Hawk Athletics?
You know what, if that's the path that my kids choose, absolutely. I will do anything that I can, as a father, to encourage that. But at the same time, even at 4 years old, I encourage my daughter to make choices. You're a powerful person, even at 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so if their choices lead to an athletic scholarship at Dickinson State University, by all means.
Yeah.
My favorite college team in all of the nation is Dickinson State University, and I cheer for the Blue Hawks before anybody else. So you bet I will not discourage that if they want to.
Yeah. Well, you've been around Blue Hawk athletics for a long time. You've seen, the wrestling, the softball, the football. You've seen volleyball, basketball, and you've seen it all. So what's been the most eye-opening for you about Blue Hawk athletics and the athletes and coaches that are involved?
I think the most eye-opening thing for me is someone who's played junior college football. I didn't go on to play my last 2 years of eligibility. So Stanton, if you still got a spot, I might come out of retirement. But the biggest thing for me is watching an athlete transition from me to we, or from I to team.
Yeah.
And probably the greatest example that I have so far, there's a few of them. Lane Overson didn't qualify for national wrestling one year, but the next Monday he was in the weight room going hard and preparing the guys who did qualify for nationals, and he was so close and he wanted it so much, but he didn't let a defeat stop him from being a part of the team. And so when I see moments like that, or guys like Seth Moorkirky, who came here to play one position and it didn't work out, and his mindset is, how can I help the team? I'll play wide receiver. Selflessly, just giving up a position to play another one for the betterment of the team.
Good job, Steph.
Or for Kayla Ray to get injured and have to coach from the sidelines, or getting replaced by Hayden, and I was at that game. Kayla could have retreated and just said, I quit. But he didn't. He put the headset on, he took the pads off, and he got right after it. And he was the biggest encouragement I think that Hayden had in that game. And so for me, when kids make that transition, that it's not about me, it's about the team, that's why I do what I do. That's what I love to see is the transformation that happens inside of a student athlete
Yeah.
when they're fully committed and they're fully bought in. And another thing that I've seen is athletes that come to Dickinson State University, part of the way through their career, maybe decide that athletics aren't for me anymore. As someone who's played sports my entire life, that is one of the hardest decisions I think that a student athlete can make. And to see them make that decision but have peace about it and then go on to do amazing things, that's also it for me. You know, my guy Brady Wills, he didn't play his last year of football. Phenomenal young man, but now he's coaching football in Killdeer, North Dakota, and he's one of the best coaches that I know. And he found another passion, he found another avenue to really give the gifts that he has, you know, as a human being and as a man. And so that's it for me. And the beauty of it is I get to get close to these student athletes at Dickinson State University. That's one of the benefits of the NAIA level in our school is we have access to these people and we get to know them and we can cheer them on. And I think it makes games and events more personal because we know them, we know their story, we've watched them come through the ranks. And it's just a blessing, you know, to be involved at DSU.
Switching a little bit from DSU to more of your family, Seth was telling me that you have a pretty special ritual, I guess, a tradition that you start with your children right after they're born.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about that tradition and how it started?
Absolutely. The first time I watched the movie Braveheart, it changed my life. If you haven't seen it, check out Braveheart. It'll change your life. It's a little bloody, but it's okay. Because when I watched Braveheart for the first time, I saw two themes running through the movie. One of them was unity, and the other one was freedom. Unity is so necessary in our world today, whether it be in the church groups, on campus, within a team. If you're not unified, you're susceptible, you know, to failures and losses more than would come if you're operating in unity. And another one is freedom. Right, we're free people. We're free to make choices. We're free to do some things. That movie, like I said, radically changed me. And so my children, on the day of their birth in the hospital, I bring the movie Braveheart, and we watch it. Because for all of my children's lives, I want them to be about unity, bringing people together, and no separation or distance, loving everybody, regardless of their choices or what's going on, making people feel accepted. And know that they're loved, right? And then freedom. I don't want you to be me because there's only one of me, right? This world is full of how many billion people, and we're all unique, right? We're all created differently, and I need you to be you. Don't try to be me, right? And so for my kids, I want unity and freedom their entire life, all of their days. And so that's part of the reason behind the ritual.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you know, as we transition out of the interview, one last question. Want to ask, what does DSU mean to you? But I also want to say, you know, if there's anything else you want to share with Dickinson or with DSU, go ahead and say that as well.
The word that came up in my mind is commitment. DSU means commitment to me. First and foremost, for the student athlete or just the student that comes to Dickinson State University, you got to be committed to do college. Right? Yeah. Committed to get a degree. You have to be committed. But it's twofold. The city of Dickinson needs to be committed to Dickinson State University. A lot of these kids that come here aren't your Southwest North Dakota healthy family dynamic. We got kids from all over the world, not just the country. A little tongue twister there, it's okay. And some of them might not know what healthy family looks like. And so we have a responsibility as a community and a university to be committed to the kid. And not just when things are good, right? I don't want you to come to the football game when we're 8-0. I want you to come when we're 1-8 and struggling. Right. Because commitment is not based on your performance. Commitment is based on we love you, we're glad you're here, how can we help you, how can we support you? Even when they screw up. Right? Everybody makes mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes, and I've been given second, third, and fourth chances, and I'm grateful for those. And so for the rest of my life, I will do the same for everybody that I come across. You know, I will always be quick to forgive and slow to anger, and I think Dickinson does a great job of that, but I think we can do better. You know, come out and support these student athletes, get behind them, get to know their story, make it personal, because that's the access that we have here at Dickinson State University.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well said. We're I mean, those words alone make us excited to be able to partner with you. But I mean, I know who you are. I know where Immovable Ministries is going, and we're so excited and thankful that you wanted to come and partner with us to be our third sponsor of Hawk Talk. The main sponsor there, and so thanks.
I'm honored. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we'll be back right after this doing a quick recap of things that have gone on and what's coming next.
Welcome back to this last bit of Hawk Talk, where we're recapping what happened in the past week and what's to come this next week. So today on the show we had Lisa Townsend, who runs for track and cross country, and just this last weekend they were in Minnesota, Moorhead, correct?
Yep.
And Lisa took 21st place. Hunter Flynn, who was also named the North Star Athletic Association Player of the Week, which is really
long name.
quite a mouthful. We maybe could shorten that a little bit, but
NSAA.
NSAAPOW, not much better. Anyways, he took 18th place, and this weekend the team goes to Rocky to compete.
Yep, on Friday. We're looking forward to
Yep,
that.
yep.
Like Lisa was saying, they're ranked, so it'll be a good challenge for us. Football this last weekend went to Jamestown. Like we said, recovered from that Rocky loss, beat Jamestown 34-0. I believe Hayden had 3 touchdowns. Jarrett Lee, we had him on. He had 2 touchdowns. Ahmad had 3 touchdowns as well. So just a really good performance. I think Kevin Brown and Derek Van den Bosch led on defense with 5 tackles total, and we had a interception and a fumble, I believe. So the Blue Hawks recovered, and it was exciting.
Definitely.
Really awesome to watch that
Rainy,
unfold.
stormy,
it was
hawk
a rainy
weather.
day, but hawk weather, as they
Yeah.
say. Yeah. Well, golf, they were on the road this past week. Didn't actually get any updates. They were in Great Falls. We had Jarrett on. He didn't actually go to that golf tournament, golf game. Yep. But I know
Someday we'll figure out what to call it.
They are back this week, and I believe they're heading to Jamestown on Sunday and Monday. So, their season is very condensed into a couple of weeks, and so it's I mean, a lot of stuff happening. So hopefully we can get them on one of these days.
We talked last week with Ellie Hanser, who's one of our new co-hosts of Hawk Talk, and she plays for the volleyball team, And this weekend they have their home opener Friday night against MSU Northern, correct? And on Saturday they play Briarcrest,
Canadian team, I believe.
and that is Stanton Strong night.
Yep.
That's
So
correct?
with football being off this week, I think the gym's going to be packed, and
Yeah.
it's a perfect time
Perfect
to come out
weekend,
and support the Blue Hawks. They're 3-1, so starting the season with a couple victories, and I think they're going to transition that into this weekend, and it's going to be the gym is going to be rocking.
Scott
Susanna.
Gym
Scott
is
Gym's gonna be
rocking.
She made fun of me for saying that.
I still will
Last year.
after
Okay.
this.
Well, the last one on our list, Rodeo, was away this weekend. We didn't get any results from them. Hopefully we can get some this weekend. They are heading to Nebraska. I can't quite remember. Somewhere in Nebraska, for 2 rodeos this weekend. So I'm not sure how that works, but they have a busy weekend ahead of them.
We had the
and
big
we're excited.
groundbreaking for that
Yep,
practice arena.
Practice arena is coming back to DSU.
Great
So there's
things happening
A lot
for
of
the
stuff
rodeo
happening
team, for sure.
at DSU, as always. I think the only home things we have are volleyball
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. So if you get a chance to come out on Friday night, I believe it starts at 5, and on Saturday there's both a JV and a varsity
Mm-hmm.
game at 1 and 3. Closes
Okay.
out.
With that, we look forward to the week to come, and Hawks are up.